I want to share with you guys the exact process we use at our agency that helped us profitably spend over $10 million on ads on the behalf of our clients. I'll be walking you through the entire ads process in itself, and you'll want to stick to the end because I'll be giving away to you the entire templates and the SOPs for you to implement within your business absolutely for free. To be quite honest, I don't even know why I'm giving this away for free, considering it's probably in itself worth tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands, considering the amount of revenue this made us and how much time it saves my team on a day-to-day basis. I do want to add that this process is not limited to a specific type of business. It would work whether you're an e-commerce brand, whether you're an advertising agency, and no matter what niche you're actually advertising in as an agency owner. So ladies and gentlemen, this is our creative process that we use at our advertising agency. This is how our team basically manages itself in order to create, ideate, and iterate on new advertising projects. Now, given the fact that we know AI and machine learning are really coming on board when it comes to Facebook and TikTok advertising, we have taken a much more creative first approach now where we are the one building the ads for pretty much every single client of ours. And I think you should be doing the same thing too. You shouldn't focus on media buying if you're watching this video. You should in fact focus on the creative level. Media buying is very easy, quite frankly, and the real value you can deliver for either your own business as a brand or for your customers as an advertising agency is through a process like this one. So I want to show you the ins and outs of how we work with this process and basically the triggers for it, the way that our team communicates with that. So let's just get straight into it. Within the creative editing process that we have, you're going to see two different statuses. So first of all of that is hosted on a platform called ClickUp. So this is the project management software of choice that we use at our company. So from there, you're going to see two different statuses, UGC and creative editing, and you're going to see why in the next few minutes. Now, when we want to start a new creative project. Now, I'm going to talk about ideation, meaning I want to start something new. I don't want to iterate on a past ad. I don't have an ad inspiration necessarily. I want to create an ad that is aligned with my target persona. So what I would want to do from there is head over to the top bar and head over to my research center. Now, the research center in itself is roughly a 6 to 7 step process that we use in order to research on the brand, research about the competitors, about the persona, their current audience, and their ideal audience. So the way that we've mapped it out right now is in these 7 to 8 steps. We've actually simplified a lot the process since we had made this specific example I'm showing you on screen right now. So first step, we're usually gonna do the persona and product mapping. This is more about the current state of the brand. Like, what's the gender of your current audience, right? If we look at your Google Analytics, if we look at your Shopify, if I look at your Facebook, what is your current gender of the audience? What are the affinities that this audience is having based on Google Analytics? The stats on that audience, the features, mechanisms, USPs of the product, so on and so forth, okay? Now, second step is about mapping out the desires. Then we're gonna map out, essentially, we're gonna turn these features into benefits. Then we're gonna attack the awareness level. So basically awareness level, which is what are some of the questions that my prospect is asking themselves at different awareness levels in their journey. The sophistication of the market, we'll write up the headline, we'll come up with an ad script, we'll make the ad copy, and then finally, if I go through the creative process, this essentially is how we keep track of every new ad that we make. I have a master sheet like that for every account that I manage that looks like this. I have the concept name overall right here. We have, and if I go down a little bit, you'll see, because again, this sheet went through many different phases and changes, but you'll see here that now we tag every single desire that is attached to that concept. What is the awareness level? What is the sophistication stage? When we look internally, which I'll get back to it in a second, what is the actual batch number of that ad, the copy and headline associated with that ad? Once I fill this up, this usually takes a team member roughly 30 to 45 minutes to fill up from start to finish. And keep in mind, you don't need to fill this up every single time you need to do an ad, because in that specific case, you do a lot of the initial research that you would do for the first time when ideating on a new product, collection, or even business. So that said, usually you can start back this process from awareness level onwards when making new ads. But for now, I just kind of walk you through the entire process just so you could see it. Now, if I go to the creative editing, usually what my team member would do is, let's just say they just came out with a new creative concept right here. If I would go back to my research center right now, Then I open up my creative process. I go all the way down. I would see that, let's say the latest number that I have right here is 105. So the new creative I would make is, let's just say 106. So I would go back to my creative editing tab. I would make a new task. I would name it client name, then 106 as an example, and then name whatever the name of my concept is. So let's say concept 1 would be the naming convention. Now I click enter. Now I don't know if you just saw what happened, but I simply moved my task status to do. And from there, you could see that the ad editor was added right here under assignee. So we have these triggers where on each client account that we have internally, the associated ad editor is assigned to the right task. So let's say usually we have at our agency, we have 2 pods. One pod usually is, so the way I'm currently structuring my team is with 2.5 pods if you want. I have 2 ad editors, I have 1 media buyer, I have a creative specialist, and I have a manager. Now we have our ad editors essentially splitting the client pool. So one ad editor is responsible for half the client pool, the other one for the other half. And we have a dashboard internally with every single one of our clients in which team member are assigned to that account. Would it be an ad editor, creative specialist, the media buyer, the manager, so on and so forth, right? So here the right team member gets assigned depending on whatever status this is. So as an example, if I move that now from to do, and you can see the different statuses here of my task, I can move it from to do to, as an example, editing complete. And here you go. Now the manager just got assigned that task to review, because that's usually the review process that we have internally. Our manager QAs every single ad creative once they're done. So now automatically when this happens, we also get a Slack notification. The right team member gets a Slack notification saying, hey, you have a new creative task to edit. Let's say if you're an ad editor, or if you're a manager, hey, you get a task now to review. And now we've structured these specific columns to have at a glance the right type of information available for our team. So let's say I'm an ad editor, I come over here, I'm like, all right, I got a new task to do, as an example right here, this DCT 103. I'm like, okay, it was due for yesterday. Okay, what platform is this on? Okay, this is a Facebook ad, great. What type of project is that? Graphic or image? All right, perfect. So this is a static, perfect. What are the expectations that my team is having? Great, this is what they expect from me. Then we use, again, a DCT model, which if you're unfamiliar with what this is called a dynamic creative test. So with Facebook ads or an automatic creative optimization with TikTok ads. And then we usually have 3 variants of different ad creatives that all have a different hook or what we call like a concept headline. So we have these different hooks if you want right here listed. And then if there's any like current asset files, we would have right there. So that's that. I don't want to leave alone the status up top, which is UGC, which essentially that is a different pathway. So earlier I showed you the pathway if you're making an ad, considering you already have assets, right? I go to the research center, I research about my brand, I research about my audience, I come up with the concept, I come up with the copy, I come up with the ad headline, and then I come over here and I make a task for my ad editing team to either make a static, a video, or a montage based on existing assets. But what if you don't have existing assets? What if you want to make, as an example, a UGC project, work from scratch with a creator? Well, the process is a little different, right? Because then you first think about also the research center. You research on the audience, you come up with the copy, the headline, the ad script now, which is added. And then you would actually move that, in our case, on Incense, which we use a platform called Incense, so incense.pro, which is which platform we're partnered with in order to work with creators. So usually what's going to end up happening is we're going to do very similar naming convention. We're going to name our UGC task with the batch number of that creative, but then we're also going to add the name of the creator we're actually contracting for that. And you're going to see the statuses are different, right? So like campaign is created, let's say on Incense, we sent a message to the creator has been picked, we're waiting on the package, we're waiting on the content now from the creator, content has been received, we requested changes on the raw asset, case closed and finally paid, or creator is gone MIA and is not responding. And then the thing is that usually once we're actually done, right, as you can see right here, once a UGC task was marked case closed and paid, then it just simply gets moved into a creative editing task, right? Because now we have the raw assets that we got from a creator, and now it gets moved to editing. So our team can actually start editing this asset. And which is why you can see right here, like, all right, this as an example is a UGC task that was then changed into an ad editing task. Let's open it up and show you what goes on inside that task. So now if I open this up, one of the first things I see here in my task description is the Incense campaign and chat that I had with that specific creator. So if ever I need to go back and chat with that creator again, I could just click right there on that link and get right back to the discussion with them. If I look here on the right in the comments, this is where everything happens within our team. This is where I, as a manager, or I as a team member for that matter, can just open this up and see what's going on. So I can see here that, let's say Henry changed the status of that campaign to campaign created. And then basically left some comments about the concept, the desire, the awareness level, the kind of general information that he wants to go for with that. Now, Julie, the manager, is now also commenting on here. She's like, hey, I sent a message to the creator. Now, here she tagged the ad editor. She's like, hey, for this one, like, here's some of the stuff about our creator. And what I can do right here, you can see there's like 10 more updates here. I can like open up all these updates to really show you, but I can see the exact task history of that one. So that one was open roughly a month ago as of this point. A month ago, we came up with the concept. We're roughly 4 weeks later at the time of recording this video, and we are almost closing down this entire project. And you can see how it went through the different stages. Like on what date did we, as an example, send a message to the creator? When did we actually get back a response from the creator? So on and so forth. You can see when our ad editor changed that to a completed task, which basically the link is sent right here. Then we can see that we sent it for the client review. Then finally, the client had some feedback, which we did it right here. And then finally, essentially, our team got back with some results. And then finally, the task got completed. Now, what does that help you and why should you care essentially about this? Well, here's the thing. I myself used to be running my own team on Google Sheets, Google Docs, and I've analyzed many different brands and agencies that are purely working off of Docs, Notion, or like some very unorganized structures. And this helps you not miss anything. Like we have this style of structure for every client account. So at scale, we have something called a dashboard on ClickUp where I can see every creative project simultaneously of every single client. So imagine that view that I'm showing you right now for every client we have at our agency. So I can see all the tasks at a glance. My ad editor can now filter these tasks and show only the ones assigned to them so they can see all the client tasks they have for them. They can also see nitty-gritty per client as I'm showing you right now. So that's the first thing. It helps to have a macro or a micro view for every team member involved. And if I, as a manager now, wants to know what's going on with that task, like why is it taking so long? Where are we at? I just open this up. I can see the full task history from my team. I can know to the T every single day that there was an update about that task. What was the update about? And why essentially we're either late or early on a given task. And I can know that by looking through the task history right here and just seeing all the updates from when, again, as mentioned earlier, we sent the message to the creator all the way up to when was the first time we sent that for editing internally. And it's incredibly important to build your team for scalability, no matter how big or small you are. Because look, it's the same thing. I had a friend at some point tell me like, look, Justin, I want to start like an Instagram theme page, but I think I'm just going to do it for fun. Like I just want to share about my passion and that's it. I was like, so you don't want to monetize it? And they're like, no, I don't really want to monetize it. But I'm like, what if you do? Like, no, I really don't want. What if you do? Aren't you better off building something for monetization from the start, but don't monetize it, right? You at least have this door opened up to you. Because if you don't, you might have shot yourself in the foot and built something where people don't want you to monetize, right? As an example, Yes Theory, one of the most popular YouTube channels out there, was victim of that. You know, they've been all about giving, all about community since the start. And then at some point they made an ask, right? They launched, I believe it was like a mini course, and they got like roasted all across the web because of that. Now, arguably we could sit here and say whether or not this is right or wrong, but the point is you need to build something you need to be something that can sustain you now, but also for the future. Like if I'm using something like this for, let's say, one brand or one customer, you might think, it might be a little bit overkill. But on the flip side, I could also say, well, this is very well organized. And if I, as a agency, start doubling, tripling, quadrupling my client pool, suddenly I find a very good use case for a system like that. And if I'm a brand and I'm spending, let's say, $10,000 a month and I'm producing like 12 ads a month, this might be a little bit overkill. Or again, we could say it's organized. But then if you're spending $500,000 a month, $1 million a month, $1 million a day on ads, right? I've seen accounts spending $500,000 a day and more. Well, the amount of creative volume, like the sheer volume of creatives you have to produce is unfathomable with Google Sheets and Docs. You need something organized, and that allows you to keep track of every single project going on within your team, from an ad project to like a video to just uploading a new campaign, so on and so forth. And now the part you've probably been waiting for this whole time: how do I get my hands on a system like that? Or how do I get more of your process? How do I get to see really what you're doing? Well, all of that is posted in our school community. It's entirely free for you to join. By the way, the link is in the description down below. I'm not trying to pitch you anything at all. This, like, you can go on there, you can get your hands on that. You're just gonna head over to our community. You're gonna head over to Classroom. If you're not yet a member, it's probably gonna be locked. You're just gonna have to join the community essentially, which again, completely free of charge. You go right here, you're gonna see the PCADS mini course. You click on it, and then from there, you're gonna get to see like a better view of my entire process, like from how we do research to crafting the brief, the copy, the headline, from my ad account structure to literally tons and tons of video content right here that we have. It has been recorded by one of our ad editors that have been with us for a very long time. Essentially, Lily has done an amazing job at recording these videos, and you can get a better picture of the micro of this entire system. And on that note, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Once again, make sure to check out the link down below and get your hands on the micro of that entire process demonstrated today for your brand or for your advertising agency for that matter. And I'll be seeing you guys in my next video. Cheers.